My name is Diane Williams, and at 62 I thought I knew heartbreak when my husband Robert passed away 3 weeks ago. But nothing prepared me for what I discovered that Tuesday morning. I was already running late for my flight to visit my sister in Arizona when I realized I'd forgotten Robert's will. Racing back home, I used my key, quietly, not wanting to disturb my son Michael, who was staying there. Then I heard their voices in the kitchen, Michael and his wife Stephanie, and what they were saying froze my blood. Before I continue the story, if you're watching this from somewhere where family means everything to you, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. It might help someone else recognize the warning signs I missed. I've lived in suburban Boston my entire adult life. This neighborhood has been my home for over 4 decades now. Robert and I bought our colonial-style house shortly after Michael was born. Actually, it wasn't just any house, it was Robert's childhood home passed down from his parents. The Williams family has deep roots in this community. Robert and I were married for 40 years before his heart gave out 3 weeks ago. It was sudden, even though the doctors had warned us his heart wasn't strong. One minute we were having breakfast discussing our plans to visit the garden center, and the next he was clutching his chest, his coffee mug shattering on our kitchen floor. I called 911, but by the time the ambulance arrived, he was already slipping away. The paramedics worked on him all the way to the hospital, but there was nothing they could do. I spent most of my life teaching third graders at Lincoln Elementary School. I loved watching their little faces light up when they finally understood a difficult concept. Robert always said I had the patience of a saint. He was the successful one, though, a civil engineer who designed bridges and infrastructure projects all over the Northeast. His work was in demand, and he was well compensated for it. Throughout our marriage, Robert handled all our finances. He managed our investments, paid the bills, and handled our estate planning. I was perfectly content with this arrangement. Numbers were never my strong suit, and Robert had such a methodical mind. He made sure we were comfortable with a nice nest egg for retirement and our future secured. What I didn't fully appreciate until recently was just how substantial our wealth had become. Robert's career had been lucrative, yes, but he was also an astute investor. Plus, the property values in our neighborhood had skyrocketed over the decades. The family home that had seemed like a stretch for us as newlyweds was now worth well over $1 million. Our son Michael is 38 now. He married Stephanie about 12 years ago, and they gave us our only grandchild Lily, who just turned 10 last month. Michael works in sales for a technology company, though he's changed jobs several times over the years. He's always chasing the next big opportunity, Robert would say, with a mixture of pride and concern in his voice. After Robert's funeral, Michael suggested that he and Stephanie move in with me temporarily. "Just until you get back on your feet, Mom," he said, putting his arm around me at the reception. "We don't want you rattling around in that big house all by yourself." I was grateful at first. The thought of returning to an empty house was overwhelming. Michael took the guest room on the first floor, and Stephanie set up her laptop at our dining room table to work remotely. Lily stayed with Stephanie's parents during the week since they lived closer to her school, but she spent weekends with us. As the days passed, though I began to feel increasingly uncomfortable in my own home, Stephanie would ask pointed questions about Robert's possessions. Was this watch expensive? Or, did you ever think about updating this furniture? Little comments that made me feel like she was already dividing up our belongings in her mind. My sister Margaret lives in Phoenix. We've always been close, talking on the phone several times a week. After the funeral, she insisted I come stay with her for a while. "You need a change of scenery, Di," she said. "Some desert sunshine will do you good." I finally agreed to visit her for 2 weeks. It would give me some space to breathe and grieve properly. Plus, Robert's lawyer, Harold Jenkins, had an office in Phoenix since he served clients in both Massachusetts and Arizona. I needed to bring Robert's will to him to start the probate process anyway. The morning of my departure was hectic. My flight was scheduled for 10 to 45 a.m., and Michael had offered to drive me to Logan Airport. I was just doing one final check of my suitcase when I realized I'd forgotten the will. Robert kept all our important documents in a fireproof safe in his home office. I'd taken the will out the night before, intending to pack it, but must have left it on his desk. I called out to Michael that I needed to grab one last thing, but there was no answer. Then I remembered he and Stephanie had mentioned going grocery shopping that morning. They'd left earlier, saying they'd be back in time to take me to the airport. Glancing at my watch, I realized I was cutting it close. The drive to Logan could take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. I had already called for a rideshare as a backup plan, and it was only 5 minutes away. I quickly gathered my luggage and headed out the door, thinking I'd just have to call Harold and explain the situation. Halfway to the airport, sitting in the back seat of the rideshare, I suddenly remembered how important Robert had said it was that I bring the physical copy of the will to Harold. There are specific instructions he needs to see in person, Robert had told me during one of our last conversations. I asked the driver if we could turn around. He wasn't happy about it, but I offered to pay extra. 20 minutes later, I was back at my house rushing up the front steps. I could reschedule my flight if necessary, but I knew I needed to get that will. I noticed Michael's car in the driveway. They must have returned from shopping earlier than expected. Not wanting to disturb them if they were busy unpacking groceries, I used my key to quietly open the front door. As I stepped into the foyer, I could hear Michael and Stephanie's voices coming from the kitchen. I was about to call out to them when I caught a fragment of their conversation that made me stop in my tracks. "Mom would never understand. She's too emotional about Dad's things," Michael was saying, his voice carrying down the hallway. "She doesn't need this big house anyway," Stephanie replied. "Once it sells, we'll have enough for the business and a new start." My heart began to pound so loudly, I was afraid they might hear it. I moved closer to the wall, my hand clutching the banister for support. Were they really discussing selling my home? Robert and I had always planned to pass the house down to Michael eventually, but the casual way they were planning its disposal sent a chill through me. "Dad always babied her," Michael continued, his tone dismissive. "She has no idea how to handle money. It's better if we take control of things now." "Did you see the statement from their investment account?" Stephanie's voice had dropped to an excited whisper, but in the quiet house I could still make out every word. "There's way more there than your dad ever let on." My knees felt weak. I leaned against the wall, trying to process what I was hearing. This couldn't be my son talking, my sweet boy who used to bring me dandelions from the yard and cry when butterflies died. "The will probably leaves everything to her first," Michael said, "but we can convince her she can't manage it alone. She trusts me." "And if she doesn't cooperate?" Stephanie asked. There was a pause before Michael answered. "Then we look into power of attorney. Dad's death hit her hard. Who knows what kind of decisions she's capable of making right now?" I had to cover my mouth to stifle a gasp. They were actually plotting to take control of my finances under the guise of helping me. "We deserve this, Michael," Stephanie said firmly. "After everything we've done. Your father always favored your mother. This is our chance to get what's rightfully yours." "What about those loans Dad gave us?" Michael's voice had an edge of worry. "Will those come up during probate?" "Not if we're careful," Stephanie replied. "Besides, your mom doesn't know about most of them. Your dad kept her in the dark about a lot of things." This revelation hit me like a physical blow. Loans. What loans Robert and I had always been open with each other about everything. At least I thought we had been. "I still feel bad about this," Michael said, but his protest sounded weak. "Do you want to be in debt forever?" Stephanie's voice had hardened. "Do you want to keep working for people who don't appreciate you? This is our chance, Michael. Your mother will be fine. She'll have more than enough to live on." I'd heard enough. With my heart hammering in my chest and tears threatening to spill, I retreated silently back toward the front door. Moving with a caution I didn't know I possessed, I managed to make it to Robert's office without being detected. The will was right where I'd left it on the corner of his desk. I grabbed it and slipped it into my purse, then made my way back to the front door. I opened it and closed it again this time with enough noise to be heard. "Hello?" I called out, forcing my voice to sound normal. "I forgot something important." There was a sudden silence from the kitchen, then the sound of chairs scraping against the floor. Michael appeared in the hallway, his face composed but his eyes not quite meeting mine. "Mom, I thought you were on your way to the airport," he said, coming forward to give me a quick hug. "The driver was kind enough to bring me back," I said, amazed at how steady my voice sounded when inside I was crumbling. "I forgot Robert's will. I promised Harold I'd bring it." Oh, was it my imagination, or did he look disappointed? "Well, I could have scanned and emailed it to you." "No," Harold was very specific about needing the original, I said. "I'll just grab a later flight." "We could take you back to the airport now," Stephanie offered, appearing behind Michael. Her smile seemed plastered on. "Actually, I think I need a little time to compose myself," I said, the lie coming easily. "I got a bit emotional in the car. I'll call the airline and reschedule." "If you're sure," Michael said, but I could see the calculation behind his eyes. Positive. You two go ahead with your day. Don't worry about me. As soon as they retreated to the kitchen, I wrote a quick note saying I'd gone to the store to pick up a few things I'd forgotten from my trip. Then I slipped out the door and into my car. With shaking hands, I started the engine and drove away from my home, tears now flowing freely down my face. Once I was several blocks away, I pulled over and called my sister. "Margaret," I sobbed when she answered. "Something terrible has happened." The signs had been there all along. I just hadn't wanted to see them. As I drove aimlessly through the streets of my neighborhood, memories flooded back warning signals that I had ignored or dismissed over the years. Michael had always had a complicated relationship with money, even as a child. He'd spend his allowance the moment he received it, then come asking for advances against future payments. In college, his credit card debt spiraled out of control. I remembered the late-night phone call during his sophomore year, Michael's voice tight with panic as he confessed to owing over $8,000. Robert had paid it off, making Michael promise to learn better habits. But those habits never formed. After graduation, there was the failed attempt at starting an online business selling specialty sports equipment. Robert invested $20,000 in that venture. Just to get him started, he told me. But the business folded within a year. Then there was the condo Michael and Stephanie bought that they couldn't really afford. When they fell behind on payments, Robert stepped in again. I knew about that one because I'd overheard them arguing about it, Robert insisting they needed to live within their means. What I hadn't known until today was that there were apparently many more financial rescues that Robert had kept from me. Why, to protect me from worrying, to shield Michael from my disappointment. The thought that my husband and son had this whole secret financial relationship made me feel like an outsider in my own family. I remembered Stephanie when she first started dating Michael. She'd been warm and engaging, always asking about my teaching stories and bringing thoughtful little gifts when they visited. She'd seemed genuinely interested in our family photos and traditions. But after the wedding, a subtle shift occurred. Her questions became more focused on material things, where we bought our furniture, how much the renovations to the master bathroom had cost, whether Robert's watch was a Rolex. I'd chalked it up to a new daughter-in-law finding her footing in the family, perhaps feeling insecure and focusing on the wrong things as a result. I had made excuses for her increasing coldness, telling myself she was busy with her career in marketing. When Lily was born, things improved briefly, with Stephanie seemingly softened by motherhood. But within a year, the distance had returned. Robert had tried to warn me. About 6 months before his death, during a rare moment alone, while Michael and Stephanie took Lily to the park, he'd brought up the subject of our will. "I want to make sure you're protected, Di." He'd said, his reading glasses perched on the end of his nose as he reviewed some documents. "Protected from what?" I had asked, laughing. "We're not exactly surrounded by enemies." His expression had remained serious. "Michael has certain expectations about his inheritance. I'm concerned about how he'll react to some of the decisions we've made." "What decisions?" I'd asked, suddenly paying closer attention. "I've arranged things so that the house and the bulk of our assets are protected for you first," he explained. "Michael will receive his share eventually, and there's a trust for Lily's education. But I want to make sure you're secure for the rest of your life, no matter what." "You make it sound like Michael would take the food out of my mouth," I'd protested. "He's not perfect, but he's our son." Robert had taken off his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. "He's under Stephanie's influence more than you realize. And she, well, let's just say her priorities aren't always aligned with our family's values." I had dismissed his concerns, then accusing him of being overprotective and not giving Michael enough credit. Now, sitting in my parked car with tears drying on my cheeks, I wished desperately that I'd listened more carefully. There had been other signs, too. After the funeral, Michael had made several comments about the house being too big for one person, and how property taxes in the area were such a burden. Stephanie had taken an inventory of Robert's home office under the guise of helping me organize photographing documents when she thought I wasn't looking. Just last week, Michael had suggested I meet with a financial advisor friend of his. "Just to get a fresh perspective on your situation, Mom," he'd said casually over dinner. "Dad handled everything for so long, it might be good to have someone help you figure out your next steps." I'd actually been considering it. If Michael hadn't forgotten his wallet at the house and doubled back to retrieve it, prompting my early return today, I might never have discovered what they were really planning. The realization of how close I'd come to falling into their trap sent a fresh wave of nausea through me. I started the car again and headed toward the airport. I needed to get to Phoenix to Margaret and to Harold Jenkins as soon as possible. The flight to Phoenix was a blur of contradictory emotions. Shock, grief, betrayal, anger, they washed over me in waves as I stared out the small oval window at the clouds below. The older flight attendant, a woman about my age, with kind eyes, noticed my distress and brought me an extra blanket and a cup of tea. "Whatever it is, honey, it'll look different once you're back on solid ground," she said, patting my shoulder. I managed a weak smile, but couldn't bring myself to explain that the ground beneath me had already crumbled away. Margaret was waiting for me at the arrival gate, her face creased with concern. My older sister by 3 years, she'd always been my protector from playground bullies to heartbreaking breakups. One look at her familiar face and I broke down again. "Oh, Di," she murmured, wrapping her arms around me. "Let's get you home. Then you can tell me everything." Margaret's desert ranch house was all warm wood and earth tones with large windows that looked out over the Sonoran landscape. Once I was settled on her comfortable sofa with a glass of wine in hand, I recounted every detail of what I'd overheard. Margaret's expression darkened as I spoke. By the time I finished, she was pacing the living room, her hands clenched into fists. "Those ungrateful scheming—" she started, then stopped herself. "No, I won't waste energy cursing them. We need to focus on protecting you." The next morning, we drove to Harold Jenkins' office in downtown Phoenix. Harold had been Robert's friend since college and had handled our legal affairs for decades. His office was in a modern glass building, but his personal space was all old-world charm, leather-bound books, a massive wooden desk, and photos of his fly-fishing expeditions with Robert. "Diane," he said, standing to greet me with genuine warmth, "I'm so sorry about Robert. He was one of the good ones." "Yes, he was," I agreed, fresh tears springing to my eyes. "She needs your help, Harold," Margaret said, getting straight to the point. Robert was right to be concerned about Michael and Stephanie's intentions. I pulled the will from my purse and placed it on his desk, then recounted what I had overheard. Harold's expression grew increasingly grave as I spoke. "Let's review everything," he said when I finished. He opened Robert's will and began explaining its provisions in detail. Robert had indeed anticipated potential problems. The family home and the majority of our assets were protected in a trust for my benefit during my lifetime. Michael would receive a specific inheritance generous but far less than the total estate with certain conditions attached. There were legal protections against coercion or manipulation that might cause me to change the arrangements. "Robert asked me to tell you something if it ever came to this," Harold said, leaning forward. "He said to remind you of your anniversary trip to Maine, when the boat engine died, and you were stranded on that island overnight. I remembered it clearly, our 10th anniversary, a rented boat, and an unexpected adventure that had turned from frightening to wonderful as we watched the stars come out over the Atlantic. He said you were the one who kept calm, who figured out how to signal for help, who made that night magical instead of miserable. He said you were always stronger than you gave yourself credit for." Fresh tears spilled down my cheeks, but these were different, a bittersweet mixture of loss and gratitude. "Now," Harold continued, all business again, "let's discuss your options. Michael's legal avenues are actually quite limited, especially now that you're aware of his intentions." We spent the next 2 hours discussing strategies. Harold explained what Michael might try to do and how we could counter each move. "The most important thing," Margaret said as we drove back to her house, "is that you face this head on. Running away or avoiding conflict will only make them think you're vulnerable." "But what if I lose them?" I asked, voicing my deepest fear. "Michael is still my son. Lily is still my granddaughter. Do you think Robert would want you to sacrifice your security and dignity to maintain a relationship built on manipulation and lies?" Margaret asked gently. She was right, of course. Robert had protected me in death, as he had in life, putting safeguards in place to ensure I would be secure. The least I could do was honor his foresight by standing firm. That night I made my decision. I would not rush back to Boston. Instead, I would extend my stay in Phoenix and use the time to prepare for what lay ahead. Over the next 10 days, Margaret's guest bedroom became my war room. Harold connected me with his most trusted financial investigator, and together we examined every aspect of my financial situation. What we discovered was both reassuring and disturbing. Robert had indeed been meticulous in his planning. Our investments were healthy, the trust was solid, and my financial future was secure if I could protect it. But we also uncovered evidence of Michael's deception. There had been small withdrawals from one of our joint checking accounts after Robert's death, nothing large enough to raise immediate alarms, but together they added up to over $3,000. Michael had apparently kept Robert's debit card and was using it knowing I rarely checked that particular account. Harold's computer security expert, a young woman with bright blue hair and multiple monitors in her office, found emails between Michael and Stephanie discussing their plans in detail. "We need to move slowly," Michael had written. "Mom trusts me completely. If we push too hard too fast, she might get suspicious. Your dad's house is worth at least $1.3 million in today's market," Stephanie had replied. "Once we convince her to sell, we can suggest she invest the proceeds with Jake. He'll make sure we have access to what we need." Jake turned out to be a financial advisor with a history of regulatory infractions, exactly the type of person you wouldn't want managing your elderly parents' money. Most disturbing were the references to significant gambling debts that Michael had been hiding. "Once we get control of Mom's assets, I can finally clear everything with Vincent," he'd written. "He's getting impatient." Each new discovery was like a knife to my heart. I cycled through denial, bargaining, and depression much as I had after Robert's death. Margaret was my rock through it all, letting me cry when I needed to, but never letting me wallow. "They're counting on you being emotional and irrational," she reminded me. "Your clarity is your strength right now." Meanwhile, Michael called every evening, his tone increasingly concerned and controlling. "Mom, have you talked to any financial advisors yet?" he asked during one call. "I'm worried about you making big decisions on your own right now." "I'm taking my time," I said, amazed at how normal I could make my voice sound. "Margaret is helping me think things through." "Margaret," his tone sharpened. "No offense to Aunt Marge, but what does she know about estate planning? Dad left me the responsibility of helping you figure this out." The lie was so bold, it almost took my breath away. Robert had done no such thing, as Michael well knew. Stephanie's tactics were different, but equally manipulative. She called separately, her voice dripping with artificial concern. "We're so worried about you alone in that big house," she said. "Michael and I were thinking, wouldn't it be nice if you had a little condo? No maintenance, no stairs to worry about as you get older. We could help you look when you get back." "That's thoughtful," I replied, matching her fake warmth with my own. "But I'm not making any big decisions right now." While maintaining this facade of normalcy with Michael and Stephanie, I was busy fortifying my position. With Harold's help, I changed all passwords and access codes for every financial account, set up new accounts that only I could access, documented all evidence of Michael's unauthorized withdrawals, created a comprehensive inventory of all assets and their locations, consulted with an elder care attorney about emotional manipulation tactics, prepared legal responses to any potential actions Michael might take. Margaret helped me prepare emotionally as well. We role-played different confrontation scenarios, with her taking the part of Michael or Stephanie and throwing every possible argument and manipulation tactic my way. At first, I would cry or freeze up, but gradually I found my voice and my confidence. "You don't owe them explanations or justifications," Margaret coached. "Short, clear statements of fact are your best weapon." I also reached out to Lily's other grandparents, Stephanie's parents, with whom I'd always had a cordial relationship. Without revealing everything, I let them know that Michael and Stephanie were going through some challenges and that there might be tension in the family for a while. They were concerned and promised to keep an extra eye on Lily during this difficult time. Finally, I called my next-door neighbors, the Pearsons, who had been our friends for decades. I asked them to keep an eye on the house and let me know if they observed anything unusual. Jim Pearson, a retired police officer, understood immediately what I wasn't saying explicitly. "Don't you worry, Diane," he assured me. "We've got your back." By the time I booked my return flight to Boston, I felt transformed. The shock and hurt were still there, but they were no longer controlling me. Instead of a victim, I had become an advocate for myself and for the legacy Robert had entrusted me to protect. Margaret insisted on flying back with me. "Just for the first few days," she said, "until we know how they're going to react." As the plane touched down at Logan Airport, I took a deep breath. I was ready to face whatever came next. I had texted Michael that I would take a taxi home from the airport, but as Margaret and I collected our luggage, I decided to call a rideshare instead. I wanted to arrive on my own terms, not dependent on my son's schedule or goodwill. The late October afternoon was cool and bright as we pulled into my driveway. The maple tree in the front yard was in full autumn glory, its brilliant red leaves backlit by the sun. Robert and I had planted that tree the year Michael was born. So many memories in this place, I was not about to let it be taken from me. Michael's car was in the driveway, which meant he and Stephanie were home. I squared my shoulders and walked up the front steps, my key ready in my hand. This time, I would not enter quietly. "Mom," Michael exclaimed as Margaret and I walked through the door. His surprise at seeing my sister was evident. "Aunt Margaret, we weren't expecting you." "I decided to join Diane for a few days," Margaret said pleasantly. "Sisters need to stick together at times like these." Stephanie emerged from the kitchen, her smile not reaching her eyes. "Welcome home, Diane. We missed you." "Did you?" I asked, my tone neutral, but my gaze direct. "That's nice to hear." A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face. Something in my demeanor must have alerted her that something had changed. "How about we all sit down for a family meeting?" I suggested. "I have some things I'd like to discuss." "Now," Michael asked, glancing at Stephanie. "We were just about to head out to meet friends for dinner." "This won't take long," I said firmly. "And it's important." Reluctantly, they followed me into Robert's office. This room had always been the place for serious family discussions. Robert's presence seemed to linger here among his books and papers. I took a seat in Robert's leather chair behind the desk, a deliberate choice. Margaret stood beside me, a silent support. Michael and Stephanie sat in the visitor chairs across from me, looking increasingly uncomfortable. "I want to talk about what I overheard the day I came back for Robert's will," I said without preamble. The color drained from Michael's face. Stephanie's expression hardened. "What are you talking about?" she asked, but her tone was defensive. "I heard you both in the kitchen discussing plans to convince me to sell the house, discussing how to get control of my finances, referring to loans from Robert that I knew nothing about." "Mom, you must have misunderstood," Michael began, his voice placating. "We're just concerned about you. This house is a lot for one person to maintain." "Stop," I said, holding up my hand. "I heard you clearly, Michael. Mom would never understand. She's too emotional about Dad's things." Those were your exact words. He flinched as I quoted him verbatim. "And you, Stephanie," I continued, turning to my daughter-in-law. "You said, once it sells, we'll have enough for the business and a new start. Were you planning to use my home to fund your ambitions?" "This is ridiculous," Stephanie snapped. "You're obviously confused, and I see Margaret has been filling your head with suspicions." "My sister has nothing to do with what I heard with my own ears," I interrupted. "But she has been helping me understand what it means, and what it means is that you both were planning to take advantage of my grief and trust." I opened a folder on the desk and removed a printout of the unauthorized withdrawals from the joint account. "Can you explain these, Michael?" I asked, sliding the paper toward him. He glanced at it, then looked away. "Dad would have wanted me to use that money. There were things I needed to take care of." "Things like gambling debts?" I asked quietly. His head snapped up, genuine shock in his eyes. "How did you—" "We know about Vincent," Margaret interjected, "and we know about your plans to have Jake manage Diane's money after the house sale." Stephanie's face hardened further. "You had no right to go through our private emails." "And you had no right to plot against your mother-in-law," Margaret shot back. "Please," Michael said, his voice breaking. "You don't understand. We're in trouble. I made some mistakes and things got out of hand. But I was going to pay it all back, I swear." For the first time, I saw genuine remorse in his expression. My heart ached for my son, the little boy who had once been so innocent, now trapped in a web of his own making. "How bad is it?" I asked softly. He couldn't meet my eyes. "About 90,000, he whispered. Stephanie turned on him furious. "Michael, what are you doing? Don't tell her anything." "I can't do this anymore, Steph," he said, his shoulders slumping. "It's over. She knows." "It doesn't have to be over," I said carefully. "But things will need to change. Dramatically." "What does that mean?" Stephanie demanded. "It means first you'll both be moving out of this house by the end of the week," I said firmly. "I need my space back." "You can't just throw us out," Stephanie protested. "Actually, she can," Margaret said. "The house belongs to her trust. You have no legal right to stay here without her permission." "Second," I continued, If you want any relationship with me going forward, Michael, you will need to get help for your gambling problem. Real help, not just promises. Mom, he began. I'm not finished, I said, my voice gentle but unyielding. Third, there will be no discussion of selling this house or of anyone managing my finances except me and the professionals I choose to consult. Robert protected me from exactly this scenario, and I'm honoring his wisdom by protecting myself now. What about Lily? Stephanie asked, her tone suddenly threatening. If you do this, you might not see her again. It was the one threat I had feared most, but I was prepared for it. I've already spoken with your parents, I told her. They understand that something difficult is happening in our family. They've assured me they won't keep my granddaughter from me. You went behind our backs to my parents. Stephanie was livid now. I did what was necessary to protect my relationship with my granddaughter, I replied calmly, just as I'm doing what's necessary to protect myself now. Michael looked utterly defeated. What happens now? He asked. That depends on you, I said. I'm willing to help you with your gambling addiction, Michael, not by giving you money but by supporting you through proper treatment, but you have to want to change. And if we refuse your conditions? Stephanie challenged. Then Harold Jenkins has a file ready to submit to the district attorney regarding the unauthorized withdrawals from accounts you were not entitled to access, Margaret said bluntly. Your choice. Stephanie stood up abruptly. This is insane. Come on, Michael. We need to think about this. Michael rose more slowly, looking older than his 38 years. I'm sorry, Mom, he said quietly. For everything. I know, I replied, fighting back tears. I love you, Michael. That hasn't changed, but trust has to be earned back. After they left the room, I finally allowed myself to break down. Margaret held me, while I sobbed for Robert, for the son I thought I knew, for the family that would never be the same again. But beneath the grief was something new, a sense of pride in my own strength and gratitude for Robert's foresight. He had known this day might come, and he had made sure I would be prepared. That evening, after Michael and Stephanie had gone out to think things over, Margaret and I sat on the back porch with glasses of wine, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. You did well today, Di, Margaret said, squeezing my hand. Robert would be proud. I think part of me knew something wasn't right, I admitted. I just didn't want to see it. That's how they take advantage. They count on your love blinding you to their actions. I nodded, taking a sip of wine and feeling for the first time since Robert's death that I might eventually find my way through this wilderness of grief and betrayal. Tomorrow will be hard too, Margaret warned, but you won't face it alone. I looked out at the garden Robert and I had tended together for 40 years, at the roses still blooming despite the autumn chill, and felt a strange sense of peace settle over me. No, I agreed. I won't be alone. 6 months after that fateful day at the airport, life had found a new rhythm. Spring had come to Boston, bringing fresh green leaves to the maple tree and tulips to the flower beds Robert had loved so much. I still lived in our family home, though I had made some changes to make it truly mine. Robert's office was now my reading room, with a comfortable chaise lounge replacing his desk. The formal dining room we'd rarely used had become my art studio, where I was learning to paint landscapes, something I'd always wanted to try but never found time for. Michael had moved into a small apartment and was attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings 3 times a week. His road to recovery had been rocky at first, but after hitting what he called his absolute bottom. When Stephanie left him, he had committed himself to getting better. Yes, Stephanie had left. Once she realized there would be no quick financial windfall, no house sale to fund their fresh start, she had filed for divorce. She had moved to Chicago for a new job, taking Lily with her, but agreeing to a visitation schedule that allowed me to see my granddaughter regularly. Our relationship was strictly cordial, now focused entirely on Lily's well-being. My relationship with Michael was slowly healing. We met for coffee once a week, usually at a small cafe halfway between our homes. At first, our conversations had been strained and limited to surface topics, but gradually we began to discuss deeper issues: his addiction, his feelings of inadequacy compared to his successful father, his remorse over betraying my trust. I don't expect you to forgive me overnight, Mom, he said during one of these meetings, but I want you to know I'm committed to earning back your trust however long it takes." I believed him. The desperate, scheming man who had plotted with Stephanie was being replaced by the son I remembered thoughtful, kind, and honest. It would take time to fully rebuild our relationship, but we were making progress. My bond with Lily had actually strengthened through all of this. I now had regular one-on-one time with her without Stephanie's watchful presence. Every Saturday, we spent the afternoon together baking cookies, visiting museums, or simply reading books side by side in my new reading room. At 10, she was old enough to sense that something significant had happened in our family, but not old enough to understand the details. She only knew that everyone seemed less tense now, especially when her parents were no longer together. "I like coming to your house, Grandma," she told me one Saturday as we planted sunflower seeds in the garden. "It feels peaceful here." Margaret visited more frequently now, staying for a week every couple of months. Our sisterly bond, always strong, had deepened into an unshakable alliance. She had been my defender when I was at my most vulnerable, and I would never forget that. I had also found unexpected connections through a grief support group at the community center. There, I met other widows and widowers who understood the particular loneliness of losing a spouse. Some had also experienced family conflicts over inheritance issues, and their stories helped me realize I was far from alone in what I had endured. One of the most significant changes was my growing financial independence. I had taken a course in basic financial management at the local community college and worked closely with a certified financial planner, one that Harold had personally vetted. For the first time in my life, I understood exactly what I owned, how it was invested, and what my options were. This newfound financial literacy led to an unexpected new purpose. I began volunteering at a women's center teaching basic financial skills to older women who, like me, had depended on their husbands to manage the money. Many were widows or divorcees suddenly thrust into managing finances they didn't understand. Seeing their confidence grow as they mastered concepts like compound interest and investment diversification gave me immense satisfaction. "You've helped me more than you know," one woman told me after a session. "My husband always said I was too stupid to understand money matters. Now I realize he just wanted to keep me dependent." Robert would have been proud of this work, I thought. He had never deliberately kept me in the dark about our finances. I had chosen that ignorance myself, finding the subject boring and intimidating. But he had made sure I would be protected when he was gone, giving me the time and space to develop the skills I needed. As I sat in my garden on the 6-month anniversary of that day at the airport, watching bees buzz among the spring blossoms, I reflected on the painful but necessary journey I had taken. The betrayal by Michael and Stephanie had nearly broken me, but through that breaking, I had discovered strengths I never knew I possessed. Robert couldn't protect me forever, but he had given me the tools to protect myself when it mattered most. The greatest gift wasn't the inheritance he left me, but the strength to stand on my own when I had to. For anyone watching who might be facing similar family challenges, I hope my story offers some comfort and guidance. Have you ever had to confront difficult truths about people you love? How did you find the strength to stand up for yourself? Please share your experiences in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if my story resonated with you. Your support means the world to me, and together we can help others navigate the complicated landscape of family money and trust. Thank you for listening, and remember, it's never too late to discover your own